Welcome back, everybody, to the Slim Flippers podcast. And tonight will be a joint adventure with Johnny from Frizzy'S Finds. Johnny, how you doing today, my friend?
What's going on, buddy? Good to see you.
Good to see you. We're going to hopefully start making this maybe a weekly thing or bi-weekly thing where we just get together and kind of talk reselling and whatever else that we feel like talking about.
I love it.
We'll have to come up with some sort of podcast name for this one, since it's both of us doing a joint adventure. It's not really the Slim Flippers podcast, so it's a Slim Frizzy podcast, or Frizzy Slims.
We can call it a Slim Chubby.
Slim Chubby. So how have you been, my friend? It's been a few weeks since we had talked. Kind of bring us up to speed on what you've been involved in.
Yeah, man. Just busy. Just, obviously I have a full-time job, so working that, and then just doing our flipping and our shopping and all of that. But garage sales have been really, really just awful lately. Estate sales have been just as good. So we've just been hitting the bins. I know it seems like a little bit of a cop out, but it's just where it's at. We've had a lot of luck. We've filled some carts the last couple of weeks, and we've just been living off that.
It makes you wonder, why do you think at this stage of the game, or this time of year, because now we're in August the 1st already, which is hard to believe. Why do you think there's been a slowdown in yard sales? What's going on? Because I've actually seen a couple of pickers and flippers talking about how one of them said that he went out like 6 different ones and didn't find anything.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, it's not even that prices are too high. The stuff's not there. Like, I mean, it's just people are getting rid of their garbage. And like, some of it is, I think people have an idea of the value of some things. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people are listing things and at least trying to sell it some other way than, garage sales, because a lot of people just think, garage sales are 50 cents and quarters and stuff, when, we go to garage sales and people are trying to sell things for hundreds of dollars, and we're like, wait a minute, this is a garage sale. Like,
right.
It should be $2. So like, some of it's that. I think some of it, people just don't want to deal with it anymore. And it just goes to a thrift store, or it goes in the trash. We have a buddy here who's been kind of dumpster diving, garbage picking lately, and he's just like, just finding vintage hauls of t-shirts and hats and stuff that people just have in bags on the side of the road, and he sees shirts sticking out of the bag, and he's like, I'm gonna pull over and check it out. So, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. But I know last year for us, when we first started doing garage sales in the summer, they were terrible. And as the summer went on, they got better. And this year it's been flat. And we go every Saturday morning. We are out of the house no later than 7:30. And, 10 o'clock is when our bins open. And we're normally like stopping for breakfast and heading to the bins a couple minutes before they open, because it's just not worth driving around. You're wasting gas. It's just, unless you can find like a community where there's a couple, and you can walk to 3 or 4 in one spot, like, we're not wasting our times. And, estate sales are just so dang expensive.
Well, that's what my wife and I both kind of felt. We felt that same thing that you're feeling. And we just basically shelved yard sales this weekend. We're just like, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
And so we actually had a day date thing. We went,
nice.
Over to the mountains and just enjoyed each other and went and ate. And we had a good time. Now, we did drop into a couple of Goodwills along the way, obviously.
Of course. Sure.
Every good reseller has to, sure, we'll go eat, but hey, I know there's a so-and-so. But I think there's a couple of things that you had mentioned. Some people really value their stuff at a high rate. And that's probably because they have what, people say it's an emotional attachment. Well, that was my grandfather's mother's such and such. And that's fine, But but we just can't pay those kinds of prices. Our price points are where they're at, and we can't pay it. So why would we waste our time even going to these? But they talk about the bins being the very last resort for most of this stuff. A lot of those things, they end up, for me, I see them, they're like, well, I'm just going to haul all this off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take it to Goodwill anyway. But they've got it priced, like $5-10. But I'm just going to take it to Goodwill anyway. Well, how about you just give me a good price and let me buy it and save you the trip? Because I've run into that a couple of times. People are just, they're not willing to give you a good price, but they're willing to go dump it at the door of Goodwill.
Yeah, there is weird things like that, and sometimes because we go so often, we'll see things that we saw at garage sales that will end up in the local store a couple days later, and I don't know, I don't get it. I don't get Goodwill and their pricing structure and all of those things. I don't get people and their garage, like I don't get it.
Well, it's like some of them feel like, and I don't know, like they're getting cheated. Well, you're going to take it to Goodwill at the end of this sale today at 2:00 when you're done. Why not just give me a price on it? Let me save you the trip from hauling it all over there.
Yeah. Do you see, like, at your garage sales where you are, do you see like quality stuff that you would buy if the prices were better?
I have seen some stuff, and some of the things that I've ran into, they're $10 higher than where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I'll tell the people, listen, I appreciate whatever you're trying to do, and I get that, and you're trying to make your profit, but that's not where I'm at. And they understand, they get it, and it's fine.
Yeah,
it's all fine because people can charge whatever they want, and like we do as resellers. So
yeah, absolutely. And we just see like a lot of baby clothes and like kids clothes. Like we just see a lot of kids stuff. And so a lot of times we'll pull by with the car, we'll just peek out the window and we'll just keep driving because
that's what I was getting ready to ask you. How many times have you done the drive-by? You're just like,
too many,
and no, I don't want the smalls. I'm good.
Yeah. And some of it is just like you in a bad mood, right? Like you go to 3 or 4 duds, so you're just kind of annoyed already. And so you're just like, I'm not even stopping. And that was probably the one you should have stopped at. Like had you gone to a different order.
Yeah, it had that diamond that's sitting there, and you just said, we'll just keep breezing on.
And it's tough though, right? Because like sometimes you like strike up a conversation with the people at the house, right? And then like you want to leave, but you don't want to buy anything, or you're at their home, you're walking up and down the garage, but you're the only one there, and there's this like awkward like leave, and like you do that.
Well, you have a good day.
Yeah, like good luck. I don't want it. And like
I don't know how to get out of this, but
yeah, exactly, right. You wait for someone else to walk up so you can kind of buy. Like you do that a couple of times, and you're like mentally drained from it.
Right.
And
I get that. But you just never know, though, any given Saturday, what's out there. I mean, it can be, here's a big word, a cornucopia of riches for you, or you're going to be, there's nothing there. And I don't know, after about 4 or 5 times of looking, getting in and out of the car, I'm pretty much done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's obvious things are not going to work out for me that day. This past Saturday, funny enough, when we had decided we were just going to go to the mountains, we took off driving, and we ended up in Pigeon Forge.
Okay.
And I don't know if you're familiar with the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at Cooter's Garage in Pigeon Forge, Tom Wopat was there, who was Luke Duke.
Yeah.
So, hey, we got time. I went in there and met Luke.
That's cool.
It was cool. It was neat to meet him. But what ended up happening, these 2 people in front of us, we struck up a conversation because we were in line for a while.
Yeah.
And I found out all about these people. They ended up they're printers. They print T-shirts and whatever else. They're located in South Carolina. So actually, on Thursday this week, I'm going to have a podcast with them
That's cool.
talking about their business. So I mean, it's like this is great. So,
Yeah.
like I said, any given day, man, opportunities are there, and they're going to come in different forms.
Yep.
You just got to be able to, grab those opportunities.
Absolutely.
People miss them a lot every day.
Yeah, I mean, we not this past weekend, but the weekend before, we were out hitting some garage sales, and we got to, this one house, and they just had a table of, like old toys and stuff like that. You could tell it was their daughters or whatever. And we found like a little Lisa Frank box, from the 90s with the unicorns and all the colors and stuff like that. And we picked it up for $1 or $2, and it sold for $45 like the next day. So like it's stuff like that. You just don't see, like, if you watch too much YouTube, it's almost bad for you, right? Like everyone's just, some of these garage sales are just like, God, like you have a whole video of all these garage sales, and I haven't seen one like that all summer, if ever. Right?
It makes you wonder about their editing skills, how they're splicing it and putting it together. Like ADH Dave, I mean, the guy, he must have every kind of wonderful yard sale around him that I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if you've looked at any of his videos lately, but it's just constantly, he's got this here, he's got this here, and he's got this. I don't have that. Mine are few and far between.
No, I would love to do just garage sale videos and just show you what they're like in Greensboro, North Carolina. Just like
okay, all right. That is our thing for us to do. Okay, you and I both. We need to get out and just film reality.
All right, yeah, we'll do it. I like that.
Let's film reality. Let's talk about it. We'll try somehow to get the videos together. We'll just film reality, and then we can come back and talk about it, because it can really be, it can be great, but it can, I found a whole lot more desolate times than I have the great times.
Yeah. And that's like, I think that's what we like so much about the bins, and whether people love them or hate them or whatever, but like for us, it's kind of like a garage sale, because you have all these, like each bin's a house, and you never know what's going to be there, and you can kind of dig through it, but it's also controlled a little bit, because what the price is going to be. You may find nothing, you may find something.
Now, are you consistently hitting on at least some good things every time you go to the bins?
Yeah, for sure.
I wish we had bins closer to us, so I'd have to travel, an hour and a half. And again, my apologies to you. We had planned a trip to come over there to North Carolina and go to the bins, and I apologize for that. We had a ton going on, and we had just got back from Texas, and brain slip.
And that's even what I was thinking. I was gonna reach out to you and ask and say, hey, are we still on? And then I was like, he's just posted getting back from Texas. I was like, we'll figure it out.
So hopefully we can do that soon. And again, my apologies. That was strictly and completely on me. I apologize for that.
Hey, life happens.
It does. And we're extremely proud of our son. He's off in his training now, and then we found out he's going to be sent to Alaska for a couple of years. So
one of my buddies from high school, when we graduated, he went into the Air Force, and he did a couple years in Alaska, and his family absolutely loved it. And they actually just moved back to Buffalo because he went civilian, but their plan was actually to move back to Alaska because they liked it so much.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I've never been, but I hope sometime during those 2 to 3 years he's going to be there, we can possibly go visit him.
Yeah, you got to.
That would be a great trip to see him, and then to see Alaska, because I've heard it's beautiful there too.
Yeah, seems that.
Let's talk, Johnny, real quick about something you had just posted on Instagram, if you would, and it's for me, looking at you, it's like a frustrated look. Can you kind of go into detail what I would be talking about.
Yeah. So we sold this vintage like J.C. Penney USA Olympics sweatshirt, like a crew neck, right? And it was probably one of our first purchases ever where we're just like, oh, it's vintage, right? And you think everything old just sells immediately
Right.
for all this money, right? So it's just sitting there. Well, over the course of the last month, I've been doing a ton of delisting and sell similar. And by the way, that works. So if you have old stuff, delist and sell similar because it works.
Why do you think it works, by the way, Johnny?
I don't know if it just refreshes it. I know like we changed prices, we changed titles on some things, we changed categories, we added some pictures. So I think you just make it better, right? Anything we've been reselling for a year and a half. So anything that's over a year old is us at our infancy of reselling. So we, kind of went through and changed things, but it just, I probably did like 200 postings that I've taken down and put back up. And I would say 35 to 40 items from that list have sold within the last month.
And as you moved them, you dropped the price down, correct?
There's some I raised the price because the title was so bad. I had not to get off topic from this. I'll gladly get back.
Oh, we got all kinds of topics.
So I had this Harley Davidson shirt that was from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and it had this really cool eagle on it. Like it was a cool shirt. Like not all Harley shirts are worth it, right? But this had a really cool graphic on it, so I was pretty excited about it, and actually had priced it pretty high and was thinking it was going to sell. So it's still sitting there. So I'm going through and I'm doing this updated list, right? And so I delisted, I take it down, and I spelled Santa Fe wrong. Like very stupid, like it's Santa, but I put an E instead of an A at the end of it, right? I'm thinking Fe, so I add an extra E, right? So I'm like, well, okay, this makes a little bit more sense. Like if you're looking up Santa Fe, this isn't coming up. So I had it listed down for $9.99, and I'm like, I'm gonna raise it. So I put it to $17.99. Not a huge jump or anything like that. It sold the next day. So it had literally been sitting out there for over a year for $10. Nobody wanted it, or at least nobody could find it, right?
Right.
And I raised the price, but corrected the title, and it sold.
Well, you go back and you look at things, and and I've talked, and what I was talking a minute ago, Ray with the Nashville Flippers, I was on his show, and we were talking about some of my Beanie Babies that I bought, my 111 mistake, which I still have. But you go back, even like in your listings, you make those mistakes, and if you don't go back every now and then and look at those, there's a big reason why they may not be selling. Either you're missing it on the price, or you're missing it on the listing, or something to that effect. And you may have not seen it in a year.
Yep.
And like you said, you went back and you're just sitting there scratching your head, going, "What?"
I changed prices on it multiple times because I'll go through as things start to get old. I'll lower the prices, like let's get stuff moving. So I've even changed the price on it, and at no point realized that Santa Fe was spelled wrong. So, it's just, even like we don't make any new listings, right? Like when we go to sell something, we steal somebody else's, right? And then change the titles and stuff like that. So if they have the wrong category, or if they have something wrong somewhere, 9 out of 10 times, if you don't catch it, are putting that same, error out there. And so there was, things like that, like, hey, this should be, women's clothing, not sports equipment, or, whatever it is. So it was a good opportunity to go back through that. But okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Right. So getting back to before, so this same thing happened with this J.C. Penney Olympic sweatshirt. Don't ever buy it. But we did. So relisted it, lowered the price, whatever. It was for $17.99, and we send out offers all the time. I mean, like we just sit around waiting for watchers so we can send them offers. So we send this offer out for $15 and a guy buys it. And we're like, oh yes, like get this thing. Anytime something you shouldn't have bought sold, it's like double. You're excited that something sold, but then you're excited that that item sold. So we ship it out, don't think twice, boom, good, another happy customer, right? So then yesterday, I get this message where this guy is just going off. So I'm like, what? He goes, this isn't an extra large. It's a child. And I'm like, I packed it up. Like, it's not a child. But anyways, old. So it's probably been washed 100 times and shrunk and whatever. And now when we do our clothing listings, we put measurements in. But when we first started, we didn't even think to put it in. Like, if you're a medium, you buy medium, right? And it's not all the same. So needless to say, this didn't have measurements in it, but just had the tag. And so just this whole, he's going off, and first of all, this is a $15 sweatshirt. So let's hold on. Yeah, it's your $15. So I'm going to be respectful of it, but we're going to be okay here. So I said, hey, put in I apologize that it doesn't fit. Put in a return request. I'll send you a label and ship it back. So he fires back like, I just want a refund. I'm not paying to ship it back. And I'm like, again, we'll pay to ship it back. Just ship it back, right? Because it's definitely an adult, but it's probably shrunk and maybe it doesn't fit. Like, either way, right? So he goes, I just want my money back. And I'm like, yeah, just send it back. And I'll get, I'm not just giving you your money back because you say it doesn't fit. So then I get this message of what's wrong with eBay. And, I don't even want the money back. I'll take care of this another way, which meant leaving negative feedback. But you're the one that has to get up and look in the mirror every, and I'm like, are we still talking about
Johnny? How could you look at yourself this morning? I want to know.
I'm like, are we still talking about a sweatshirt, or did I hurt your mom? What is going on? And so he leaves in the comments, the negative feedback, beware of buyer, scammer, knowingly sold me a wrong size shirt just to get my money, beware. And so I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute.
Pump the brakes, dude.
There's a difference of this had a hole in it and you wouldn't do anything about it. Or even if he just wrote, this doesn't fit, negative feedback. First of all, don't leave negative feedback. Reach out to the side point, right? So then I'm like, I've got to go to eBay for business with this. This is a ridiculous negative feedback. And I just want to be I will give you the money back, but really I need you to remove that negative feedback, and you're not going to, so I'm not going to give you your money back. That's not going to make you happy anyways at this point. So I send a message to eBay for business last night, and it must be after hours, right? Because I don't get anything back, when I wake up in the morning. So I just kind of nudge them again, which anybody on eBay for business knows, you've got to kind of remind them that you're out there sometimes. So I just say, hey, following up on this. And I get a message back from the lady that's basically like, hey, we reviewed this, and although the buyer was very aggressive, they did not threaten you. Therefore, there's nothing we can do. So then you get fired up, right? Then you're him to eBay for business. I'm like, well, actually, they're threatening my livelihood. This is my business. They're threatening my business because, you're calling me a scammer. And I said, I looked at eBay's policy for feedback, and you say that it has to be, it can't be false. It can't be fraudulent, and, it's all fact-based. And I said, so basically by saying you can't take this feedback down, you're agreeing to the fact that I'm a scammer and that buyers should be aware, beware
Right.
of buying something from me. And then I get this, no, we would never say that. We appreciate you, but unfortunately, basically, if we take it down for you, we've got to take them down for everybody.
So now you're wearing this moniker from this person.
Yeah, I got the A.
Big old negative feedback right
got
on your
that
head.
scarlet letter.
Well, I want you to remember this now. When you wake up in the morning, you look at Johnny in the mirror. I want you to.
I just wanted to message, like, if I hurt your mom, like, I don't think I did, but like.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I was actually called a scammer yesterday as well.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Congrats.
Well, I have this Fortnite game on my eBay store. I know you probably can't see it real good, but anyway, $11. Okay. It was my son's. He played it a few times. Dad, I'm done with it. I don't want it. Perfect. I'll sell it.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it, but I know it's a pretty popular game. Xbox One, Fortnite. And this guy sends me a message and he says, hey, does it have, evidently there's a special code in there. It's for the bundle. It's got another code in there that helps add something to your game. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he said, does it have the code in it? And so I went and grabbed the game because I didn't really know what he was talking about, but
yeah,
I looked at it and I said, yeah, there is a code in it. He said, well, has it been used? I said, I honestly don't know. I don't know if my son used it. I'm not sure. I know the paper's in here with it. The game is great. I can't tell you either way, yes or no, if it's been used. Well, he says, would you be willing to sell me just the code? He said, if it works, I'll buy the rest of the game. Okay, now, Johnny, let's think about that for a minute. He's wanting me to send him the code, and then if it works, he's going to buy the rest of the game. Oh, sure. I kindly said, you're not dealing with a rookie, Hoss. Know what you're up to. You're wanting the code, and it's bye-bye.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'm not doing that. I said, have a good day. That's all I said. And he said, well, technically, I could buy the game and then get the codes and just ship it back saying I don't want it. I said, you could. And as he's typing that out, I'm ending the listing. You're not going to do that. So anyway, I ran into that. And then he said, he saw that I deleted it. And he said, well, you're a scammer and you're trying to sell a game the code's not good in. I never said that.
Yeah.
Never said that. I just said it's in there. I don't know if it works or not.
Yeah.
It's $11. I mean, and like you were saying earlier, it's what, $15. It's not that big a deal. Let's pump the brakes. Yeah. But that's fine. And I just moved on from him. And but that's unfortunate. I don't know why people want to do that.
It's always unfortunate when there's people like that, but it's just like, and I love eBay and I'm very appreciative of eBay. It's our, I love it. Yeah. But like you gotta have it, right? Like you can't really survive off of it, and, at least until you get to a certain level, right? And it just would be nicer if I don't want to say they don't care, but just cared a little bit more about the sellers and not just the buyers, especially when buyers are leaving, right? Like their numbers are down, their profits are up because of promoted listings. So the sellers are the ones that are making their money, and most sellers are buyers. So,
and you're right. It's just a head scratching thing for me. It's hard for me to understand and or figure out. And especially just being at this game a little over a year. Boy, what I've learned in the last 15 months. I mean, I don't know.
Well, and that's what I was talking to the lady about on eBay for Business. And I said, I've learned a lot in these last couple of days about eBay. And I said, and none of them are good, because what I found out is you can lie as long as there's something in there that can't be proven. And you can be really aggressive and use foul language as long as it's not threatening. And I'm just like, that can't be policy, and that can't be how we want this platform to be.
Right. Well, in these past 15 months, I've got 2 negative feedbacks. One of them, I was actually out in Vegas several years ago, and I'd went to the Hard Rock.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I bought one of those skull caps that's red, white, and blue. It's like an American flag, for bike riders and stuff. Well, it was a little bit too small for me. So I used to have a motorcycle, so I never wore it. Well, ended up selling the motorcycle, held on to the hat. The moniker on it, it was embroidered. It said Hard Rock, Las Vegas. It was really neat, but it was a little small. Well, I put that in the listing. This is a smaller skull cap. I made sure, because you try to divulge every single little thing you know about your products. I mean, that's just good business. And the guy, he went off on me as well. It's almost like it's the same guy that you dealt with. It's like a carbon.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It was the thing was $9. Look, I'll gladly give you your money back. No, I'm not sending it back. I'm gonna throw this piece of trash away. I'm serious. I wore it like twice. It was basically brand new.
Yeah.
And he goes, I can't believe the material this thing's made out of. It's small. It's this. And I said, yeah, I put in the listing. It's small.
Yep. Yeah.
And I really don't know what to do with that. I really don't. So.
Yeah. And that's, the tricky part with us. And, we've been kind of going back and forth. We don't allow returns. But if somebody messages us and says, hey, it doesn't fit or whatever, we just let them do it because we don't want to get the negative feedback. But because we sell so many clothes, we also don't want to become like a Rent the Runway where, we sell a cocktail dress and it's coming back 2 weeks later, like after the event's over. So we're hesitant to turn on returns, more so than I guess if we sold hard goods or something like that. But I wonder if maybe that would help with getting eBay to remove some of these negative. We've gotten 2, everything comes in 3s. So we've gotten 2 in the last week or 2, and we haven't had any in 6 or 7 months. So, they come in waves. Both of them were the sweater was $17. The shirt was $12. Where it was an extra large. We had a picture of the tag that said extra large. In the description, it said extra large. In the title, it said extra large. The lady again said, this doesn't fit like an extra large. And so apparently you can complain about fit now. So it's just, I don't know.
Have you ever, some people do the switcheroo?
Oh, for sure. Actually,
I've experienced that twice already.
So we don't consign things, but we help Frizzy's aunt sell some stuff. She's got some nice higher end stuff that she was looking to get rid of, and she had this Louis Vuitton, almost like a wallet, but it was bigger, just kind of a makeup bag, if you would. And we got these pictures that were taken of it that said, hey, I was going to get this relined, but it's cracked. And we're like, no, it was absolutely not cracked. There's no cracking in it, right? And so they were like, I'm returning this. It was like $150 thing. So we're like, yes, you can return it. Like, we clearly missed cracks in it. So it came back and there were no cracks in it. It was the same exact item that we had sent out. And we're like, did she get it, not want it, take a picture of maybe one she already has and says, this is it cracked? And thankfully didn't send us the cracked one back, but then returned it because she didn't want it. I
mean, that can happen, Yeah. I mean, it's a real thing, but what do you do? Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure.
I think, the tricky part for us, at the small time that we are is like, we don't have all this extra built-in money for theft and loss, right? Like Target, Walmart, loss and theft, like that's all built into the budget, right? Like I don't have that built in.
You don't have a loss control group.
So
in looking at that, how frustrated have you been today with this?
Oh God, man, I like, and like I said before, like, you start taking it out on eBay for business, and then, one of these times they're just gonna say like, you know what, thank you for being a customer, goodbye. Basically, just a very long-winded way of saying extremely frustrated right now. And like I said, it would just be nice to maybe have a little bit more eBay support, especially for the stuff that's just kind of over the top. If somebody wants to complain because there's a stain or something like that, like,
Right.
by all means, like, you got to catch that stuff. But beware of scammer. Like, we have 99.4% feedback, 1,200 or whatever. Like, I'm not scamming you for $15. Like, sorry, buddy.
I got a whole lot of stuff I could try to scam, not $15.
Yeah, it's like, like Frizzy found that Chanel purse that sold for $2,900. Like, that's where we're scamming.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the $10 shirt.
And I was thinking that guy, the game was $11. Okay, I'm promise you I'm not trying to scam you. And I actually told you the code. I don't know if it works or not.
Yeah. And honestly, I would pay $11 to not talk with you right now. So like
but I mean, that's like, are you trying to pick a fight? What are you doing? Because I just said,
that was my thought. And that was my thought with this guy. Like, clearly he's having a bad day, right? So when he was still guns blazing hours later, I was like, oh, he's just a jerk. He could be that.
Block.
Right, exactly. I know that list is growing.
Well, I understand that. So I'm going to quickly talk about like categories. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you still sourcing plushes?
I mean, if it comes up, I always peek.
But you're not actively going, oh.
No.
If you're interested in, I've got 111 Beanie Baby. I can drop those on you real quick.
Good luck, buddy.
Hey, you can buy them from me, then send me some really bad feedback.
Yeah, I'll do that. Beware of scammer.
Yeah, this guy's trying to scam me for 25 cents a piece. I couldn't even give them away.
Yeah, I mean, were you just hoping maybe the market will correct itself at some point?
Listen, I'll be honest with you. That was my very first purchase. Me and my son went. He went with me to an estate sale. My very first one I'd ever been to. This was back, June of last year when I started. And I'm remembering in my head at a time when they were, like the Princess Diana plush,
they were
and all these, it's all you heard. Oh, you got to have this one, And so as I jumped into this estate sale, I was like, oh man, this is great.
Yeah,
I'll make all kinds of money. I'm buying these things a quarter a piece. I got 111.
These guys are suckers.
So it is a healthy reminder for me to do my due diligence and not make that purchase anymore. And Johnny, and it's been, a little over 13, 14 months, and I haven't made that purchase. So
see, Wes, now you know how to run comps.
That's true. Yes. Wow, the learning curve that I am on. So, and I'm a teacher, so I'm constantly trying to learn stuff new. So
yeah, well, I was gonna say, don't quit your day job just yet.
Yeah, I better just hang where I'm at.
Speaking of that, you're back, aren't you?
Yes, we came back just a few days back. The kids actually will start tomorrow. I love what I do. So
what kind of games do you have in store for the kids?
Well, starting off, we generally will do a lot of running, jogging, that kind of stuff. I like to test their endurance and see. And like with the younger ones, though, we'll do skipping, hopping, galloping, a lot of coordination skills like that. But I'm out there with them every day. When every class leaves, I'm hot and sweaty with them. And so I like to live what I teach, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm just
let me know.
excited. Do what?
Let me know when the big kickball tournament is. I'll identify as a school kid. Just come in.
You can come over one day and play and pitch for both teams and whatever else. Oh yeah, we play kickball and
yeah.
You got to teach those things. You know, kids love it, and that's why, honestly, I love my job. I have felt like a kid for a very, very long time. You can ask my wife; she thinks I'm perpetually 8 years old. But there's nothing more rewarding for me than seeing a kid get excited to learn how to do something and get, you know, what you're trying to teach them. So that's a rewarding experience.
That's cool.
But I'm excited to get the year started. So smalls, and I think we touched on this prior, talking about yard sales. I'm getting to where I'm just leaving a lot of stuff that I probably would have picked up 8 months ago when I was go. Nope. I guess because my coffers are filling up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I played way too much Tetris in the house, and I just don't have to deal with packing it. You know,
it's weird, right? Like as you kind of get further in this journey, like there's things that you leave where like you'll just say like, "Ooh, 6 months ago I would have grabbed that." Like I'm learning, right? Like I'm learning. Even though, you know, you still trip up from time to time, but we have, like, Frizzy and I, you know, not to kind of toot our own horn, but we've gotten so much better.
Right.
Just knowing what not to, you know, and there's things that we miss, and there's, you know, we still make mistakes, but overall, you know, we were just talking the other day, like our sales are very flat, like our total numbers are, you know, have been, you know, I know this year's been tough, but throughout the year has been pretty flat. But the number of things we've sold is going down. Not that that's a good thing, but our average sales price is going up. So we're just buying less, but we're buying better stuff, and it's selling for more. Which I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it, or, you know, how it's supposed to go, but we just feel like we're better.
Well, you know, ADH Dave, he made a conscious effort. I think it was a couple of months ago. He was starting to start selling things like $15 and higher. I mean, he was done doing these smaller items, and I think you got to get to a point to where if you don't make a decision and draw the line somewhere, you're going to have a house or a building or something full of just smalls that are just absolutely overtaking you.
Yep.
And I set out a goal for myself to just stay away from plush. I bought one plush. I think I bought one of the Buc-ee's plushes that I found in the bins while we were in Texas. But that's the first plush I bought in quite some time. And other than my major mistake, Beanie Babies, I still have that box. But other than that, I've got half of a box left of plush, and I'm out of the plush game.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with it. And I'm actually out of the clothing game as well. I will buy extra large and higher. Okay. I'm not buying large, mediums, none of that anymore. I don't want to mess with it.
I don't blame you.
It's very frustrating to me. And you know, kudos to you all that do sell the clothing and stuff. I just ran into a lot of things that you were talking about earlier. Oh, it's too small. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's shrunk. Well, you got clothes. These things are not brand new.
Yeah.
Very rarely are we selling new things. You know.
Yeah.
You do find new and it's got the tags on it. You've got a gem, but you know, 95% of the time, these things are not new.
Yeah, and we've learned a lot too. You know, we were kind of dead set against like putting in measurements on clothes, right? Like we're not taking the extra time. If you're a medium, you're a medium, you know, whatever it is, like I said before. But we used to get messages just every day, like, you know, what's pit to pit, what's the length, and we're just, and so like just taking the time now and putting in measurements and stuff like that, a lot, you know, 99% of that has gone away. We had two people last week who wanted to do returns because it didn't fit, and we were like, hey, we put measurements were in the photos, like,
right.
and just
Especially like you said, you do that pit to pit, and you're just like, it's just.
But it's funny, like people want pit to, and I'm like, I don't even know, like I don't even.
You didn't know you were going to become a tailor, did you? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things I measure, and I'm used to measuring out the bases for the playing kickball game. I'm not used to measuring pit to pit and all this other stuff, But man, the stuff you learn.
What do you
quite
enjoy
comical to me.
selling the most?
Do what?
What do you enjoy selling the most?
Hats.
Yeah.
Hats.
Are they hard to find?
No, not for me.
Okay.
I've got a Goodwill near me. I mean, their price is right where it needs to be. It is really there. And actually, Johnny, one time this summer back in June, I had went to a yard sale, and I think I was probably like the third or fourth person there. I happened upon it. I didn't know it was going on. I was out for the summer. It's a Friday. I'm like, oh, yard sale. Just dropped in real quick because usually I miss those on Friday, and then they do it again on Saturday, and a lot of the stuff is gone. But the lady had just opened it. She had both her sons went through. They had a bunch of hats, and they just said, we don't want this. We don't want this. I bought like 36 hats at $1 a piece.
Nice.
I've been going through those, and they're really good hats. Some of them never even worn. They had the cardboard, up in
yep on the inside.
I hadn't even touched them. So hats is my, your all's phrase, my bread and butter for me.
Yeah.
They just sell really good, really quick. And I've noticed your Baltimore Orioles hat you got on there. I saw it on the side. Oh, World Series.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're good again.
Yeah. Is that a good seller for you, hats? You do that, or what do you think is your top thing?
So we used to, like, when we first started reselling, like, I love hats. I've always loved hats. I'm going bald because I wear them, but when we first started reselling, we used to be able to go to the bins, and I would just leave with 30, 40, 50, 60 hats a day because nobody else went for them.
Right.
And then we started getting a larger influx of like the vintage kids or the t-shirt bros, whatever you want to call them. And they just just swarm and take it all. So for me, it's a lot harder to source hats now than it used to be. We used to do a Whatnot show every single week selling hats. And now we'll do one every month or two just because it's become so difficult to acquire them. And our Goodwill, all hats are $3.99. So if I'm $4 into a hat, like, it better be,
that's tough.
A sports specialty script hat or so, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it better be upper level than just like, oh, here's a $10 hat. So my hat game has gone down tremendously just because of that.
I understand. I've been fortunate, and like anything else, I'm assuming there'll be ebbs and flows to it.
Yeah.
There always is. But I'm okay with that. I am part-time just like you.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time, and I have really met a lot of nice people, had opportunities to discuss and talk with. And I actually found somebody that said, hey, I saw your podcast.
Oh, nice.
That's actually happened to me once now. So I'm
nice.
like, hey, appreciate you watching. So I'm up to, the last I checked, I'm up to 56 now subscribers. So
nice.
thank you to every one of those people. I appreciate you all.
And your list is improving. I mean, you used to have to talk to us.
Don't downgrade yourself, Johnny. You all are great. Every single person I've talked to is great.
Yeah, you've I saw you got to do the Let's Do Lunch ladies and stuff like
and
that.
And resells and
look at this. Yeah.
Yeah, they were a lot of fun. I think pretty soon I'm going to be able to talk to President of Profit, and I think what we should do is all three of us get in there on it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That's super cool.
talk with him. But I'll talk to anybody. I have to again shout out Ray from the National Flippers. He got me to Angie Resells, and Kristen the Rural Squirrel. I'll have to edit that. Kristen the Rural Squirrel. That's hard to say. Rural. Yeah, but Angie Resells and Kristen the Rural Squirrel, they were a lot of fun. And of course, I've talked to you and your wife a couple of times, and I've talked to Ray a couple of times. Actually, got to go on his show, which was a whole lot of fun. But yeah, I talk to anybody and everybody. Just like I said, that guy that was in that line to meet Tom Wopat, I struck up a conversation with him. Said, "Hey, you're doing printing. A lot of people need printing work. Let's talk."
Yeah, for sure.
But
well, and plus, like, reselling. Like, I'm lucky that like Frizzy and I kind of do it together. Like, it's kind of lonely, right? Like, you don't have like people to talk to about this, and so it's nice that this community kind of affords you the opportunity to connect with other people.
Well, I wouldn't guess at your work you'd want to go, "Hey man, let me tell you about this guy that gave me a bad review." Right? They're going to be going, what are you talking about?
So God, what was it? Monday or Friday? It was last Friday. I was in a work meeting and they were talking about just like getting better with like social media and marketing and things like that. And so I was just like, yeah, like that's cool. Like, no one knows my secret life, right? On the side. So this guy I work with, he goes, "Hey, John's really good at social media." And I go, I am. And he pulls out his phone and is like, "Guys, check this out." And pulls up our TikToks. And so I'm just like mortified. One, it's cool he saw it, but really just mortified. Like, these are separate lives and they should be kept separate.
Well, I mean, it's not like you're doing anything wrong. I mean, you're allowed to have and do your side hustles. I mean, it's been known for years that I'm a high school and college basketball referee, which is also a side hustle. But I share like those experiences with my students. I talk about games I've seen, what happens, like a player's attitude. You got to be positive. You got to, So I use all those life experiences to teach my students. But I can see you being mortified. Like, now you're going to be the PR lead for yours. Right. Johnny's going to be controlling our YouTube channel from here on, aren't you, Johnny?
Exactly. So I came into work yesterday and they were like, "Hey, make any TikToks this weekend?" And I'm like, "Actually, I was editing a YouTube video."
Don't worry about it, right?
Yeah.
So we now, the Slim Flippers, me and my wife, we have, and she doesn't want to get on here a whole lot. She's actually the brains of the the organization. She says I'm full of hot air. We are on YouTube, the Slim Flippers, and then we are on Facebook, Slim Flippers, and Instagram, Slim Flippers. But I'm proud to announce this is the very first announcement of this. And I have to give Frizzy the Prophet a shout out on this one because he asked me after the interview was over with, he goes, "Are you on Spotify?"
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah, you can have like the audio version of your podcast and you can put the video version of your podcast on there." And as of last night, Johnny, my very first podcast is now on Spotify.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I put another one on right before you and I came on tonight. So
nice.
I have two of them on.
Oh, man.
I'm working to get ours that we did on a few weeks ago. I'm working to get those on. So right now I've got Frizzy the Prophet and the Let's Do Lunch podcast with those ladies. Those two are on Spotify. So if you get a chance, look it up for me.
Yeah, I will for sure. I love a good podcast. My office is like a half hour from the house. And in the morning, like, it's too early for singing. So I love a good podcast on the ride in.
See, when you go in your office, you go, "Hey man, y'all need to listen to this podcast." Right. Everybody hit it and like it. But all joking aside, I'm excited. It's actually pretty easy to upload.
Is it? That's cool.
It is. It's really neat. So I'm looking forward to where that takes me as well, because I'm excited about Spotify as well.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's awesome. I didn't know how that all worked. I mean, obviously there's podcasts on there, but just how they get on there. So that's cool.
You should look into it though.
Yeah.
You should look into it too. But and what we're doing here is we're both talking with each other. We're going to try to do this as much as possible if we can. We don't even have a name for it yet. It's just
Frizzy'S
Spines and the Slim Flippers right now.
We're just Slims and Chubby right now. But
Slims and Chubby. I like it. Well, that is all the time that we have this evening on the Slims and Chubby. We want to thank everybody for joining us. And Johnny, we appreciate your time and stepping in here with us again. It's been a lot of fun this evening.
Always a pleasure, buddy.
You take care of yourself.
Bye.